What's up, guys? New week, new video, and the time is here. Super Bowl Sunday is here tomorrow. One more day before we see who the new champion is going to be, and we're guaranteed to get a new champion. No Bucks, no Chiefs, completely different Super Bowl, and what's been a weird year, and it should culminate a little bit of a weird year. But before we get into that, I got to take the time out to congratulate our first draft pick ever, Tony Bosseli. We drafted him with the number 2 pick, made the Hall of Fame. It took him 6 years, 6 shots to try to make it. I'm glad he made it. I was a little worried that they were going to keep not letting him in. And for those that are not Jaguars fans, you might not understand that Tony Bosseli was one of the greatest left tackles to ever play the game. And I use this analogy all the time, like when especially when we're talking like the GOAT debate. I'm gonna get into a little later, but the GOAT debate between LeBron James and Michael Jordan, and usually I get hit with, look at how long LeBron's played and da 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 da, right? And what I explain to people all the time is, you guys are putting too much emphasis on the longevity. When I think about the GOAT, it's usually who hit their prime and sustained it the longest. Like, who hit their prime and became the greatest player of all time and sustained it the longest. And what people seem to forget is Jordan didn't join the league and people thought once he joined the league he was the greatest player of all time. He became it, and then once he became it, he never let it go. Whereas, people sort of thought LeBron James was the best player in the league, which I would still argue Kobe Bryant was even the face of the league for a good part of LeBron James's early career. So I don't want to get too deep into that because that's a whole separate video. But I say all of that to say that Tony Bosseli hit the ground running, and was immediately one of the best left tackles in the league. Made the All-Decade team, made several All-Pros, made Pro Bowls like 5 straight years, and on top of that, what's most notable, he helped this team get to 2 AFC Championship games. He was a part of us upsetting the Bills, which, mind you, him versus Bruce Smith held Bruce Smith to 0 sacks while we went ahead and upset them and went on to the AFC Championship game. It was one of the greatest memories we will ever have. If that ain't one of the greatest left tackles of all time, I don't know what is. I mean, just pure dominant. And to the point that, like, it's just kind of depressing when we look at how bad our offensive line has been through recent years. But nonetheless, I don't want to make this entire video about this. I just wanted to definitely say congratulations to Tony Bosseli, our first Hall of Fame guy. Next up, we got to get Freddie T in there. I'm worried about him too, because it's just upsetting that, being a Jaguar fan and understanding that we're in a small market, and the lack of respect we get for that is really disappointing. Fred Taylor was one of the greatest running backs of all time. If you watched him play, saw the work he gave to teams like the Steelers, he was a Steeler killer. He got over injuries early, and unfortunately, he played in a time that, excuse me, he played in a time where, unfortunately, like, it was a super running back era. You're talking Edgerrin James, LaDainian Tomlinson, Priest Holmes was in his MVP heyday or whatever. But those guys came and went, and Fred T was always there. He was always rushing for over 1,000 yards, always catching the ball, big plays. We definitely got to get Fred in there. He's one of Jim Brown's favorite running backs. He's always touted Fred Taylor. I don't think we've ever really seen a 6'1", 6'2"-ish, 235-ish pound running back move the way he does. That's why I be telling people, like, that those of you that think, Saquon was one of a kind, take a look at Fred Taylor. I've always made that comp. Now Fred T clearly is the better running back, because we still have yet to see Saquon Barkley hit the ground running. But in terms of pure talent, that kind of speed in that package, it was a rare thing. Look at Fred T. Nonetheless, let's get back to the Super Bowl. I even took an extra day to really think about this, guys. It's a really tough decision to make. And the reason for it is there's so many nuances. On paper, there's really no reason the Rams, not only should the Rams win, they should win it running away. But if you've been following me long enough, you know how much I love me some Joe Burrow, and it's because, and I was, arguing with my partner Shane, which definitely hit him up because he's been ducking and dodging, getting on this camera for a minute. But he's a guy that falls in love with tangibles. He thinks Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league, which I disagreed with. And that again, that's another argument. But I love me some Joe Burrow because he just has the intangibles. He had it in college. I expressed this when everybody was in love with Trevor Lawrence. I was like, did you guys see Joe Burrow in college? Like what he was doing in college was special. What he's doing now is special. His first full season at quarterback because he got hurt last season. And to go from kind of worst to first like that is an amazing thing. I definitely didn't expect him to beat the Chiefs, but he has that Tom Brady factor to him. He'll keep making plays, keep becoming efficient, and if you make a mistake, he's going to make you pay for it. And that's where the nuance comes in. On paper, the Rams are stacked. The Bengals kind of are playing with house money, shouldn't even be here right now, but here they are. And the one thing that I've been waiting for is for Matt Stafford to throw the ball away. And people think I don't like Matt Stafford, and that can't be more further from the truth. I do like Matt Stafford as a talent. And here's how you know. He reminds me so much of Tony Romo. And I loved me some Tony Romo. And here's why I compare him. He's obviously a superior like arm talent to Tony Romo. But when I tell you a guy that can throw the ball over the field, get you 3, 4, even 500-yard games, can just light you up. But the problem usually comes in at the end of the game when you gotta have it. They make the key mistake that cost us games. And, unfortunately, I wish we would have, got another year or two with Romo. But Dak, kind of made it impossible for Romo to come back that his rookie season when he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Because I always felt like, I would have loved to see Romo get a chance to shake that. But unfortunately, Dak kind of sent him into retirement. I see a lot of this in Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford can throw the ball all over the field, but he can also throw the boneheaded pick trying to do too much, and it usually costs his teams. I tell people all the time, Detroit, while they are a bad team, they have been to the playoffs. They have been good enough to make the playoffs. They didn't win. It's not all just Detroit. Matt Stafford was a part of that, and there were times Matt Stafford lit the league up. Think of the years that Megatron was there. The Detroit Lions have had prolific offenses. They just don't make the key plays in the right time. And Matt Stafford has to bear responsibility for that. If they win, I'll definitely congratulate him. I'm not going to say he wouldn't deserve it. It's a great story. If you follow him, I think his wife had, brain cancer or something like that. And they've kind of gone through a lot, and he's been a consummate pro. The way he's stuck it through Detroit and everything. There's nobody more deserving. But if he throws that boneheaded pick, and it's usually a bad pick, like I really think he tried to cough that game up against the 49ers, hit Jaquaski Tart in the chest with a pick, and I really think it's a different ballgame. The Niners might win that game. That's just my opinion. And we're looking at the Niners Bengals, which I'm sure the NFL wouldn't have wanted, but it is what it is. But that's my thoughts, guys. I'm going to roll with the Rams. I think I just wonder if the Bengals even have, like Jesse Bates is a monster at safety. Like he could bait Stafford into a key pick here and there. If they keep giving Joe Burrow, I'm going to go Rams in a close game. I can't responsibly say that I'm going to go with the Bengals. I love Joe Burrow. I just think he's outmanned in this one. I mean, Von Miller, Aaron Donald. If the Bengals have a chance, Joe Mixon has to be really good because that's the weakness. They have to dictate the pace early, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to do it. Another key thing to think about: Zach Taylor was part of the Sean McVay coaching tree. He was in LA with the Rams. So who gets the coaching edge, because both those guys know each other. So just some food for thought. But that's it, guys, for today. Let me know what y'all think, and holla at your boy.